As you all know, there's a khaki uniform inspection coming up, so I'm making this video to kind of show you what you need to be looking out for, what all you need to bring to your inspection, and how you need to be wearing it. So to start off with, all of this is in your guidebook, so if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, look in the guidebook, and then ask your squad leader if anything is unclear, because the diagrams are a little shady at times. But to start off with, we're just going to go over the different parts that you need in general, not even how to wear them, just how you need to wear, like you need to have. Obviously shirt, pants, the dress shoes, the black dress shoes that were issued to you. You need to have black socks. You need to have shirt stays that will attach from the bottom of this khaki shirt, run down the side of your leg, and attach to the top of your socks. And that keeps your shirt tucked in and keeps it from kind of billowing over and anything like that. You need to have a white undershirt on. That's a pretty crucial one, because there have been people that have worn gray ones or black ones, and that has not worked out well. It needs to be white, and it needs to not be a V-neck. It needs to be just a normal white undershirt. You need to have your belt and your belt buckle. That's the gold one for this, which it needs to be shiny. It needs to be, clean. Considering this is something that it's brand new, you shouldn't have to shine too much in order to get it clean. The belt you will need to cut, because, which we'll get to that in a second, just be ready to cut that. You will need to have your cap. This is called the garrison cap, which will come with its own insignia that you were also issued, which for Navy looks like this anchor. For Marine Corps, it's the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, known as the EGA. The last thing you will need is actually, for now, you will have ribbons in the future. You need to have your name tag, and that is to be placed at a very specific distance. Everything on this uniform is measured, and it needs to stay as such. So really the main things that we're going to be looking at, let me put my cover away real quick. The main things we're going to be looking for are distance for your name tag. For Navy options, it's 1/4 inch centered above this front pocket. It's exactly 1/4 inch from the bottom to the top of the pocket. And for Marine Corps, it's 1/8 inch. So if you're a Marine option, it needs to be much, much smaller. It looks like it's not even, like it's barely not touching. And that's something that we need to get right, because not only for this a little bit informal inspection that'll be done by us, your squad leaders, in the future you're going to have ones by active duty staff. Ours last semester was from Staff Sergeant McDonald. So you need to be ready for this, because that's something that they will catch. If it's not centered, you'll get a mark on it. If it's too high, too low, you'll get a mark on it. So trust me, don't think you can skip by this on not measuring. Measure the middle, measure both sides in order to make sure everything is flat and even. And the same thing goes for ribbons, both for Navy and Marine Corps, but you won't have to worry about that. Second thing that actually needs to be measured is on your garrison cap. You need to have this insignia, whichever your Navy option or Marine option. It needs to be 2 inches from this front seam to the middle of the anchor. It needs to be 1.5 inches from the bottom into the anchor. So those have to be measured as well, and it has to be accurately measured using a ruler. And that's why we're doing this pre-inspection, and we'll do it again next Tuesday. If something is wrong, we're going to tell you to go fix it. And it's good to keep a ruler with you at all times, and you'll go to the restroom and fix it in private. So that's something that we need to get right, because once inspection time comes, that will be something that you are judged upon. As for the rest of it, the only thing that's really measured is called your gig line, and that is your shirt line, the edge of this belt, and then the zipper of your pants should create one straight line called your gig line. And going from there, that's something that also that's pretty easy to get knocked off on. So if your gig line's out of line, like if my pants are way over here and the lines are way different, of course somebody's going to notice that. The belt needs to be, the back end of the belt measures exactly in the line. The reason we were talking about cutting it is because, of course, there's a golden end to it, and that end needs to line up directly, like as if it were part of the buckle itself instead of coming way out here. It's going to be like, I can't step back far enough. It's going to be long, because it's made to be kind of one size fits all. You literally just cut the other end and you feed it into the belt buckle. And so that needs to be specifically to your your needs, your height or your weight or whatever it is. It needs to be cut for you, and it needs to stay that way. So the belt buckle, the name tags, and your garrison cover are really the big things that we need to focus on. Aside from that, you'll also have, I would recommend ironing these. I believe we're going to release an ironing tutorial of some form to you. But these creases, there's lines in the shirts and in the pants. These creases need to be on point because that's part of the shirt. And you may think, well, it looks good, but once you're wearing it, it kind of becomes misshapen. So iron it. If you can, get it dry cleaned. Obviously, it's not required, but that's probably the most assured way to do it. Same with the pants. There's a seam that runs all the way down the front and the back of the pants, and that needs to be good. That needs to be done. So iron them, even if you've only worn them for 30 seconds. Iron them, because that's something that just moving around, doing things, decreases it, and that's something that has to be on point. Because that's enough. Like, if you look in the back of your guidebook, you'll see what we're going to be grading you on. It's an inspection sheet, so prepare for the inspection sheet, and that's something that's on it. Another thing, your fingernails, your hands will be graded. So if your fingernails are super long, which of course the regulations can be found in the guidebook, that's a mark. Make sure they're just decent looking and not mangled. Hair regulations. We're going to release a video for females, how to put your hair in a bun. Males, it's pretty simple. Just have it no longer than 4 inches on top, and the bulk of the hair, or that's the bulk of the hair, and the sides can't exceed 2 inches. And it can't be a hard cut anywhere. You can't just have shaved and then poof. That doesn't work. It has to be even no matter what you do. So look online. I'll actually probably release a video on male hairstyles as well, and that'll be disseminated to you in order for everyone to be on point, because everyone needs to be on point for this. Wearing a khaki uniform isn't something that should be particularly difficult. At 4:45 this morning, I woke up and it took me maybe 8 minutes to put this uniform on. And really, that was taking my sweet time. It's something that really shouldn't be hard. Even with the shirt stays, I know they're a bit difficult, but you learn to deal with it. I would recommend adding kind of a cross pattern on the side of your leg so that it doesn't rub your inside or the back of your leg or the front of your leg. There are ways to do it. So, with that being said, all of this is in the guidebook. That's part of, as Midshipman Winall said, there's no excuse to say, I didn't know this. Well, now you are expected to know this because you have the guidebook. That's something that you have had access to, and now that we're telling you in advance that there's a uniform inspection coming, that's something you need to know. Most times, if we have a uniform inspection, it'll be on the plan of the week. So you'll have about 4 days instead of an entire week to do this. So we're trying, obviously none of you have been to NSI, so we're trying to help you. Other than that, we're also going to release a shoe shining video, because your shoes will be expected to be shined. And not just like, oh, I put some polish on it and it's mildly reflective. They need to be shined. The phrase, which is, it's not entirely true, but mirror finish, you need to see just about everything. Not necessarily like it's a mirror, because that's a different type of shoe that Marines can wear. But for these shoes that we were issued, they need to be as shiny as you can. We'll release a video on that. You follow it. Go get a shoe shining kit. That's one of the crucial things you'll need. Normally you get issued that at NSI. Obviously that didn't happen this year, so we'll have to see what's what. But go get a shoe shining kit, or just shoe shine in general, because you can get it done.
Thing to be watchful for, which is kind of why I switched to this, because it kind of needs a close view, but it's something that we are going to be looking at. It's called IPs. It stands for Irish Pennants. And it's these little strings that'll pop out around every single seam of your uniform. They'll pop out at the pockets, they'll come out at the buttons, really anywhere that stuff is sewn together, they're gonna pop up. The way you get rid of those, and this is kind of weird but also very important, don't just cut them or else they're gonna come back. The best way to do it is to burn them. And that sounds kind of wrong, but don't catch your uniform on fire. Of course, please don't do that. But you need to be able to not just cut the string so it's still there. It actually melts the string, because there's like nylon in these uniforms. It melts it together to where that solidifies it, makes sure it won't come back. And that's something that's one of the main things you'll get put on is name tags, gig line, IPs, shoes. So if you can take care of those things, you're going to do fine.